And we are now joined by Napa High's newest head coach, Chris Harris. Chris, thank you so much for joining me and taking time to, reconnect in a way too here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been a while.
It has been a while. So, speaking of that, I think that's a good place to start. 10 years ago, it feels like a long time. You were in the Napa High program, then you went to Folsom. What have you learned in that time that you're now bringing back to Napa High?
Well, from when I was at Napa High to now, I was actually a stint where I was in Spain for about 4 years, where I did some coaching over there as well. Um, I basically brought what I knew over there, and it was teaching the Spanish players how to run the triple option, which is what I knew, running a little 4-3 defense as well. And then after we came back, and then I went to Folsom. So I guess some of the things that I'm bringing back to the table is really just going to be trying to find that balance between throw and run. I think that Napa High has always had a really good run game in the way that they've approached it. And I think some of the things that I've learned while being in Folsom is to implement the pass game, quick game, drop back game that we're going to try to influence back into Napa High football and find that mesh that works best for what our program is, our style, the players that we have, and that, it's constantly changing depending on, things that you have and year by year. So I would kind of say that's where it would start for me.
And what is it like for you coming back to be the head coach at Napa High, a school where you're an alumni, I'm an alumni? What does that mean to be the newest head coach and bringing some tradition back to town?
Well, I mean, it's really exciting. First of all, being a part of a program that's always been, very successful the years that we've been there, and it's fallen off a little bit since the times that we were there. But it's exciting. I'm excited for the opportunity to be able to come back and hopefully reignite that flame to get us back to being a successful program again. Um, and the great thing is, having a lot of coaches that are coming back to be a part of it is a big part of that. So I'm blessed and thankful for everybody that's willing to come back and help us out.
Speaking of those coaches, man, you have a lot of all-star coaches on your varsity staff. You obviously have Chris Yepson. Your JV is led by Chris Cortez, and then your freshman staff is led by your dad and Adam Croney, Warren Bauer, Steve Hatton, a bunch of guys that have been at the freshman level before. How important was it to you to bring a bunch of these guys back that are very familiar with the program and also obviously know the program pretty well?
I mean, it's critical when you think about it. To be a successful program, it all starts from the bottom. So when you have great coaches with a lot of experience at the lower levels, just to implement the disciplinary factors and the things that go into showing up every day, working hard every day. X's and O's is obviously important, but just putting the structure together where they have a lot of coaches around them that care about them, that are going to be there to see them succeed and pick them up when they don't. I think it's a big part of the program success when you can have all three levels that are working cohesively together to be able to essentially get us to the final product of what varsity football should look like.
On a more family side, you're obviously back coaching with your dad. This is something that was going on when you were the freshman OC when I was actually in the program as well. Um, how big of a help is this your dad in all this? I know he's kind of doing some stuff at Napa High for you before you get down there. What has he been doing so far to help you get set up before the summer starts here?
Well, it's been a lot between him and Coach Yepson and Coach Franco as well, who's running the strength and conditioning program for us right now. It's really been a collective effort of everybody just trying to get things going while I haven't been there to be able to make the move back. And the good thing is, hopefully, I'm only a few weeks out now to be able to be back. But yeah, my dad's been a huge supporter in everything that we need, as well as those other guys I mentioned. So it's been exciting, and I'm excited to be able to come back and like I said, I've lived in Folsom or lived in Elk Grove for a while, so I've been away from home. So it's going to be nice to come back home and be around all my family again. So I'm excited for that.
One thing that I never really knew was how close you and Yep are. I had no idea about that. Take me through that, how that started. Obviously, you guys are both Napa High alums, but have you guys just been friends ever since? How did that start? I'm not really familiar with that connection up until.
Well, to be honest with you, Yepson was always like so. Yepson and my brother graduated together. So Yepson has always been a part of our family. Him and my brother have been great friends for a very long time. So being able to, I mean, we've kind of our love for the game and football has kind of always brought us to have those conversations, even when he was at American Canyon and I was elsewhere and he went to Vintage. And he was coaching over there, and we would always call each other on Friday nights after I'd get home from coaching my teams, and he'd come home and we'd talk about football. And it's just one of those things that's kind of blossomed over the years. But it all started with my brother. You know what I mean? My brother was they were really good friends, and he's always at the house, and we had family, gatherings and stuff. And Chris was always a part of that. And this whole thing that got us back together and back in Napa High really started when we went to Georgia together. We went to Georgia together to watch Georgia-Tennessee game this last year, and it was me, my brother, and my dad, Chris Yepson. We all went out there and we got to watch Brock play against Tennessee. Um, it was really cool because we were able to go to the facilities and we were able to watch practice one day too. So it's just been a passion for football, along with years of friendship and family that's kind of just led into where we're at now. So.
You speak about Brock. Obviously, this pivots right into my next topic, the Brock Bowers Youth Camp. How did this come together, and is he going to actually be there coaching up our youths over the summer?
Yeah, so I wouldn't say over the summer. The camp is a 1 day camp. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's the Brock Bowers Fundamentals Camp. We're very excited about it. And what we're trying to do is just bring the fundamentals back to the community, as the lower levels, and get kids involved in football. I mean, you know how it is. Youth football and stuff is, I wouldn't say it's the fastest growing sport. You know what I mean? There's all the concerns of contact and things like that, and health and stuff that goes into it. So we're just trying to get things back into the fundamentals and what it is to play football. And apart from just, being a football player, everything that goes into the work ethic, the discipline, getting to know your teammates, the camaraderie, the team unity, having that, common goal with your brothers, and being able to go through and do those things. So yeah, Brock is supposed to be there for sure. He's going to come down, and it's going to be a very exciting camp. We're happy. We're trying to get as many people as we can involved, and yeah, obviously having Brock there and being the person that he is, and super successful, and just work ethic. I mean, he's the epitome of a guy that you like to talk about. I mean, he works hard. He's super humble. He's just what you want in a player. So having this be a camp that's his name on it, it's a big deal.
Where can people find more information about this camp? I know you guys have posted on social media, Napa High football social media. I know the spirit leaders are involved somehow. Where can people find more information about this camp?
Yeah. How this came about, to be honest, I want to make sure I give credit where credit's due. Is Holly Schmidt, who was the dance coach and the cheer coach. She's she kind of brought up the idea a little bit about how Brock's gonna be back in town. We're gonna try to coordinate a day to where we can get this together. So to be able to find more information on it, to be honest with you, we gotta post the more flyers out there, but we'll be sending out more information. But a lot of it's through social media right now. I couldn't tell you exactly where they could go. It's not on like a website where it's like, oh, click on this website, you can go there and find out everything you need. But we'll be making sure to get that information out as fast as we can to everybody that we can.
Awesome. And then schematically, I'm interested. You've already said you want to mix more run, you want to be more balanced. Does running the ball mean you're going to run more downhill? Because I mean, that's something Napa has really struggled with the last few years. Is that something you're going to bring back, like the 32, 33 option stuff that we're used to? What's coming back to the offensive side of the ball here?
Running the ball is definitely coming back. I mean, I think that there was times and moments that I've watched in film where they've done it successfully. But we're definitely going to bring back what Napa High does well, and it's block and run downhill, and but at the same time, you have to give what the defense is giving you. So it's going to be, if it's exterior, interior, if it's outside zone, inside zone, if it's going to be man blocking it, that just kind of depends on the opponent. But we're definitely going to try to build the scheme to make sure that we're going to be, gearing what it is that we do based on our athletes and our abilities. And two, based on our opponent, you know what I mean, to make sure that we are trying to exploit the things that we can, the things that are showing up on film that they're giving us. But yeah, the biggest thing I could say is, balance in both the run and pass game, and being able to run downhill and run some of that old Napa High smash mouth football is definitely on the table.
So that means physicality, and physicality starts in the weight room. I assume the weight room is going to be an integral part of the off-season push here as you guys begin spring ball and then over the summer and into season. Is how big of an impact has Nacho already made there?
Massive impact. I mean, I can't say enough. I mean, he's, you know, people that don't know Nacho, I mean, he's been running one of the most successful weight training, athletic training programs in the Valley for I don't know how many years now. He's been a football or wrestling coach at Napa High forever. He knows exactly what he's doing when it comes to weightlifting, as well as powerlifting, as well as CrossFit stuff. So he's very well rounded in what it is and able to adapt to the different styles of play. Because the way that a wrestler lifts might be different than the way a football player lifts, and he's very qualified to do all those things. And he's just been a blessing, to be honest with you. It's been really nice having somebody that's there, dedicated. Him and Manya as well. Manya's teaching the early flight class with our ninth graders right now. Is going to be that JV team next year. So it's critical. It's critical for the development of the success of the program. And I couldn't be more lucky to have those people that are taking charge of that.
Now, we've talked about a few staff members. Who are some other people that are joining your staff that maybe I may not know about? Is it a lot of the same people that are back from last year's varsity staff? Is Axel Chow back? Like, take me through some of the staff members that we haven't mentioned yet.
Well, I know that Axel's for sure. Cavell's also back with us. Ramon Ochoa is back with us. We have some JV staff that's going to be coming back with us too. Is Pat McConville as well as Pat O'Brien. They're going to be helping out with us as well. I don't want to leave anybody out here, so it's going to be hard. But there's a lot of staff that's coming back, which is really good because the camaraderie that you build with a staff as well as the staff of the players is it's important to have people in place that know the kids, and have been through things with the kids before. So, we kept on as many people as we could, you know what I mean, to make sure that we're back and we're kind of integrating what we want to do with a scheme that's going in a little bit of a different direction, but at the same time complementing it with people that, there's a lot of people that have been in the program. Ramon Ochoa has been there since I was there. Like I played in 2004. He was my coach. You know what I mean? So having him around is a big deal. And then some of those other guys that are, we've already talked about, but I don't know if we mentioned Joe Ruffino's coming back, which is a massive help for us in the offensive line, especially at the lower levels. But yeah, no, there's a lot. There's a lot of people that are back in there, and I know Coach Castrillo is going to be back with us on JV. Coach DeHaro is going to be back with us helping on JV. Like I said, there's been a lot of guys that are coming back, and I really hope I'm not leaving everybody out right now. But it's a blessing for sure.
So now we're obviously in May. What does the spring program look like, and what is the summer program going to look like for you guys here as we get going into heading into the new season?
Well, spring ball starts up next week. So we'll be going, 10 practices in the end of May, leading up there to the last day of May, basically the 31st. And then it's going to roll kind of right into summer ball. There's going to be a break for finals. We got to make sure that our kids are doing well in the classroom as well. So there's going to be a little bit of a break there for about a week and a half, getting the kids ready to take their finals and make sure their grades where they need to be. Because, at the end of the day, we are student athletes. You know what I mean? We don't want to be athletes only, because it usually doesn't work that way. So, but we're going to roll right into summer ball, and then, the freshmen will be going in the morning trainings, and the JV and varsities will be going in the afternoon, and just building and getting as good as we can, as fast as we can.
Will the summer ball include any 7-on-7 tournaments or 7-on-7 like local stuff with Vintage, the local schools here? Is that going to be included at all?
To be honest with you, my approach right now, given, where the school has been in the past, we're going to definitely focus on implementing the scheme that we have. It's a short time to be able to implement a brand new scheme, but yes, there are some options there to do 7-on-7, as well as maybe looking for a friendly here. I don't foresee us going against teams that are going to be in our league. I'm not going to be calling up Sonoma or, Vintage or Justin to come over and play. We'll probably wait and leave that for the season. But yeah, we're definitely open to the idea of getting out there and doing some 7-on-7 against some other schools, but not so much ones that are in our league.
Interesting. And speaking of Vintage, obviously big game. I'm sure you've heard of the stuff recently. Big game is kind of questionable. Now that I feel like that you're back at the helm and Napa High alum, I feel a little bit comfortable about saying that maybe big game is something that we could have in the non-league in the not so distant future after this year. Would you be comfortable doing that?
Well, after this year, doesn't it go into different leagues now? They're switching.
Yeah, so it'd have to be
Yeah.
a non-league game.
Yeah, well, I think that it's important it's a city rivalry. It's been a long time city rivalry for, I don't know, however long the schools have been open. I don't think they've ever not played each other. So I think that would be something that's important. But to be honest with you, our focus right now is definitely not on, Vintage and Napa Vintage. Our focus is on getting ourselves where we need to be to make sure that we're competitive the entire year, and that goes from our games. Week 1, I'm not really worried about week 10 at this point.
Yeah, I get that. It's every football coach, but on top of that, it's going to be the league season will be here, and obviously this is an interesting league, but you guys are what is a successful season for you in your first season here? Is it winning multiple league games? Is it 5-5? What does success look like in terms of record? I guess is what I'm trying to ask.
Well, I can only say one thing. I mean, you want to go 10-0, right?
Yeah,
That's what
well,
we do.
yeah,
Like we're not in this to lose. Do I think that we have the capabilities of doing that? I do. I do think that there are very good athletes that we have. We have very good coaches. We can do everything I can. We're always going to strive to go 10-0. I'm not going to give a number on like, oh, 5-5 would be successful. That's not my style. So we want to do everything we can to win every game we can, and we're taking it 1 week at a time. So that's what I'm going to say about that.
1 week at a time. What does the non-league schedule look like, though? I know it's Kennedy. There's some few other teams in there. Do you know anything about these teams? I haven't seen them yet, but I know
We got some
Kennedy's.
film. I can tell you that. So we got film on the teams that we're going to play. I know that we're going against Benicia and Akalani's in the scrimmage, and then after that, it's Kennedy, and then we got Irvington, and then we got Montgomery. To be honest with you, week 4, I have to look at the schedule in front of me, but I definitely have been focusing on week 1, the scrimmage, week 1, doing the things that we need to do to make sure that we start off the season the right way. 1-0 each week is the way you got to do it, right? So that's where we're at.
You guys are, I assume, in the home team for. No, you guys are not in charge of getting teams for the scrimmage this year. But that scrimmage, Benicia Acalanes, how important is that going to be to shape you guys to get some good reps before week 1 against Kennedy?
Well, I mean, they're very good programs. So, I mean, the great thing is they got very good teams that are come in and give us a good measuring stick and the things that hopefully we see some things that we do very well, and the things that we do better will become to light. When you play against a scrimmage, that's what it's about. So we're going to give ourselves the best chance to make sure that we're doing our fundamentals, the things that we want to do well, get a good look as to how it plays out. So, I mean, it's going to be great.
Next up, I want to pivot to you. So I assume this is going to be quite a little bit of an adjustment moving up to varsity. How's it going to be different for you moving up from the freshman game that you've coached for, my understanding, a while, up to coaching varsity? And are your assistants going to need to help? I mean, it's multiple minds, right? But is it an adjustment for you at all? Take me through what you're thinking there.
Well, I mean, the varsity game is definitely more complex and it's a lot faster. I mean, when you go through coaching high school football, it's the speed that changes the most. From freshman to JV to varsity, obviously the scheme is more complex. But like I said, the benefit for me was that I was able to have some years in Europe where I was able to coach over there, and I was coaching adults. So I imagine it's going to be a balance between when I coached in Europe, when I coached in Napa, when I coached in Folsom, and there's going to be a balance there. Um, so I think that I'm excited for the opportunity. There's a lot of people around me that have had a lot of experience from the varsity level. Um, but yeah, I think it's going to be a balance between those 3 different experiences that I've already had. So
And then, are you also going to be teaching at Napa High at the start of next school year? Is that also something new? Like, I assume you're going to teach Spanish because that's what you have taught before. Is that you're coming back to teach at Napa High too?
yeah, absolutely. That's the plan. Got to have a job, right? So we got to make sure that I'm working. But yeah, no, the plan is to go back and teach in Napa High School and coach Napa High football and yeah, I'll be teaching Spanish. Sorry. Yeah, I'll be teaching Spanish and teaching Spanish and obviously some of the football classes as well.
How has it been adjusting to the new administration? Darcy, obviously, I'm sure she was big on getting you on board here. And Ian Ainsworth, the principal. How's it been going with them so far? I mean, you haven't moved yet, but obviously,
Great.
didn't get the job by accident.
Yeah, no, it's been great. I mean, the constant communication has been very good. The lines of communication has been very good. There's a lot of things that have already happened since I've been away. The good thing is there's so many people that have an integral part of this that are on campus already. So it's been pretty seamless so far. I've known Darcy for a long time. Like I was her TA when I was in school. So I've known her for a very long time. Ian Ainsworth, I've known him for a shorter amount of time, but he seems great. Yeah, the communication's great, very transparent, exactly like how I am. So being able to talk about things with him and make sure that there's smooth transitions and what we're doing in our off-season program and just making sure that we're getting the guys ready to play football. So everything's been great.
Lastly, I got to ask you, you're back coaching at Memorial Stadium, a place where you played, the Napa High sideline. It's one of my favorite sidelines. Obviously, I'm alumni there. What will it mean to you to be the one leading that first game? And will you have the chills when you're the head coach for the first game against Kennedy?
I imagine. Yeah. Want to know each week. So we're going to do everything we can to make sure that we're as successful as we can for not only our players, but for the fans and the people that have been waiting to see Napa High do some successful things. So I'm excited.
And then lastly, Chris, any final thoughts on taking over the job? Anything else that we may have skipped over a little bit here? What are your thoughts? Anything that I missed? Any final thoughts?
Come out and support. It's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be a good program. We're going to be very successful in what we do. And it's exciting. I'm very happy for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Chris. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you.